Welcome to Outback Pack, guys. My name is Jordan.
I'm Jonah, and we
And
have a very special guest today. My fault.
we are excited. That's why we're
Very
talking over the
excited.
top of
Yeah.
each other. Matt from Matt's Cards. Matt, how are you? Welcome.
I'm very well, guys. Very well. We've been teeing this up for a few months now, and I'm glad to finally jump on with you guys and have a chat.
No, we're super excited. We are like we've been discussing it for a lot. We've discussed with you a lot, and we're finally sitting down. So it's nice to do it. Jonah and you got the chance to meet each other.
Yes, yeah, at Collect Fest. So that was first interaction face to face, which always fun. Bought a case off you.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember.
It was our first big case. We
Yeah.
we bought a small little one, and we quickly needed a new one. So
Yeah,
that was perfect.
Has come in very handy.
yeah, you definitely need a case when it comes to shows,
Oh, for
so
sure.
can't wait to go
We
about it.
we were such noobs when we went to our first one.
Right, I put cards in my laptop bag.
But we learned.
Yeah, 100%. Even when I went to Dallas last year, I had a case, but it didn't fit everything, and I ended up
Mm.
chucking some cards in my backpack and ended up damaging a couple of them. And luckily, they were just PC cards, like very very small PC cards, but
Mm.
just in the top loader itself, it was enough to like damage it. And then when I got back to Australia, I was a bit I was spewing about it, but kind of yeah shows why you need a case.
Very much so.
Which will segue a little bit later in the interview.
Yeah.
We'll start off obviously just a couple of get to know you type questions. First off, how did you end up in the hobby? Like, what's the origin story for you?
Yeah, so I don't know. When I was younger, I was really into footy cards. I'd say when I was 5, 6 years old, was
Mm.
into footy cards. Would always do a lot of like trades in primary school, and then like eventually ended up banning it. But always a little keen interest when it came to cards like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I did a little bit of Pokemon, but Yu-Gi-Oh, footy cards, NBA cards was my thing. But like I never really had the chance to kind of like rip anything expensive when I was younger. So um, I live in like the northwest, and there was a card shop down at Pipeworks. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Pipeworks.
No.
It's actually gone now, but it was like this big Sunday market that they used to have. And there was this old couple that ran a card shop in there. And they were more specialized in like footy cards, but every Sunday, like it was like a ritual with me and mum. We'd go there, and I'd go through their bargain boxes and pick out like 20-cent cards from the 90s and um, just buy whatever.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a little bit of that going to like Coburg Market, Laverton Market, a lot of these guys that had like 90s cards, and then just kind of buying players that I knew. But obviously back when you're buying 90s cards, it's not going to be worth much now, but I've got a large assortment of them at the moment. I've graded a couple of them, and I will never sell them. Just more so as like a key reminder to kind of yeah remind me why I'm in the hobby and everything like that. But then yeah, as I kind of got a bit older, I probably wasn't like I wanted to do something in cards full time as I got older. It was always kind of like a dream of mine, but I think when I was like a teenager, like I'd always watch YouTubers, I'd always kind of watch people open packs and everything like that. So it was never really about the money. It was more just like I just like cards a lot. But I'd always put like extra tax money into opening like a cheap box, and then yeah, eventually what ended up being like 7 or 8 years ago, just before COVID, I'd say where I bumped into like a sports card investor video. And like I was ripping boxes still again. I had a bit more money, but he was kind of saying, yeah, you can make a bit of money when it comes to buying and selling sports cards. And I thought that was really interesting. And at the start, I really had no goal, or like I just kind of bought a ton of cards of players that I really liked and I thought were good. Like this was like the Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish class that was around that period. So yeah, bought a bunch of those cards, and then I just remembered I was, as a collector at heart, I was just staring at them and I was like, I've actually got to like sell these cards and work out what a PC is and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, eventually we somehow worked it out, and now we're doing it. We've got a bit more of a structure at the moment.
That segues perfectly. So you PC, what do you PC for everyone listening?
Yeah, my PC is quite weird. So I'm a Rockets fan. You're wearing a Rockets jersey, I can see. So I'm a Rockets fan. I like to have like one of the autos of each player that has played for the Rockets. So
Oh.
I mean, if there's like there's real niche players going back from the entire time I've been going for the Rockets. And in terms of like a specific player PC, like I love Şengün. So Şengün's probably the one that I always try to like kind of stack up on. But when he was being thrown around like the trade rumors recently, I was kind of like really hoping I don't have to sell my PC because uh,
Please.
it would it would hurt me. Like I had a few of them that were given to me as gifts and everything like that. I'm like, oh, what do we where do we go with this? But in NBA, that's what it is. I also like the Asian players like Jeremy Lin, Yao Ming. I got a few autos of them. And then when it comes to like NFL, I collect Gardner Minshew. I'm a Texans fan, but I don't really collect any players from the Texans. And then I also am a Richmond Tigers fan, so I try to get all the DPSs when it comes to Richmond. So like my prized kind of PC that I would never really sell, like the draft pick signatures of Jack Riewoldt, Dustin Martin, and Trent Cotchin. So
Yeah.
whenever I have that displayed at a show, I always get a few questions of like, what's your price? And I mean, like, if someone offered me double, I'm sure I'd take it. But like, I don't think anyone in their right mind would offer double, considering how it's not that hard to kind of buy those cards.
Mm.
But yeah, my PC's kind of diverse depending on what sport I kind of go through.
Yeah, the Tracy McGrady and the Rockets, that Rockets era with Yao Ming is like that's how I fell in love with the NBA. I sadly don't go for them anymore, but it was more I fell in love with Tracy McGrady and the way he played. But to collect autos of each player, I think
That's smart. I like it. Yeah.
yeah. So you had Matt's cards and your cases. I guess you've spoken about how you kind of got here, but how did that come about? Because that's different again within
Yeah.
the hobby.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long story. Like, I've spoken about it a few times, but like I was doing the card stuff like during COVID. I think we all got really into it during COVID. Like we're at home on our laptops, like going through all these Facebook sales. But COVID was a really tough time for myself personally. I wasn't doing the best mentally, and I don't know. I kind of got towards the end of I think it was 2020. So obviously you guys are in Melbourne as well. You had
Yeah.
all the lockdowns. Um, but yeah, definitely had a few months towards the end of 2020 where I just wasn't doing the best mentally. And I think the one thing that kind of held true throughout that whole time was how much like sports cards was being an escape for me, for myself personally. So I first off, it was kind of like, that year TikTok was kind of going off. Like that was kind of the
Mm.
year everyone was posting on TikTok. But like at that point, TikTok was more of a, like depending on what your FYP is, it could be anything,
It
but
was.
it could be anything. It's trends, it's dumb things. So there wasn't too many people posting sports card content, but I did see a few. So I think TikTok was actually where I first started, but it was always kind of a case where I would speak to my wife or I'd speak to like my really close friends and I'd be like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a TikTok or I'm starting an Instagram.
Mm.
And I would expect them to be like, you're a flog. Why would you do that? Like, don't do that. You must be going through like a midlife crisis or something like that. So I was waiting for that answer, but I never actually got that answer. And they were all just like, hey, like, go for it. Like, why not? So,
Mm.
yeah, eventually, first off, it was TikTok and Instagram, and TikTok and Instagram were quite easy to start off because at the time I was faceless, and then with YouTube, that was obviously the big kind of stepping point because you put your face out there, you become like in a way a bit of an authority figure, and it's like, yeah, you really, really put yourself out there. Kind of like what you guys have been doing with your stuff as well. Like once you put your face out there, anyone can kind of really say anything. It's
Yeah.
quite you're quite vulnerable to a lot of things. So yeah, that YouTube came after that, and I think, well, at the time of this podcast, we've been doing it. I've been doing it now for about 5.5 years, I think. So
Awesome.
it's been a long journey. A lot of things that
Mm.
I've learned over that entire time. But yeah, absolutely no regrets. And yeah, it's just crazy to kind of see where it's kind of come since then.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
that's sick. So with that 5 years, would you say you have like one major memory or moment that stands out among the rest?
Yeah, not really. Like if there's one moment that I always kind of reflect back on, it's definitely late last year going to America, going to the Dallas Card
Yeah.
Show, going to Burbank. My wife definitely thought it was weird because for like months leading up to it, I was having like these dreams of me at Burbank, like, and just imagining what the show was like, but or the shop was like. But actually being there was, yeah, it was like, Americans might find this weird, but it really was like a dream come true. Like the stories, everything it makes out to be. Rob, the owner's very down to earth. Like what you see is what you get in terms of what they have on their social media. It's not like he's just in a room, speaking to certain people. Like he literally was just walking around the aisles, and I was recording, looking at a card, and he just came up and he's like, "Oh, like, what are you guys looking for?" Like, he first time at the store, and yeah, his customer service was incredible, and yeah. Like from what I know, he does that constantly. So I would say looking back, that's definitely one that I reflect back on because as well as going to Dallas and going to Burbank, I think that was also where I kind of made a step forward in terms of where I wanted like my content to kind of go. And I think it's also
Mm.
kind of where my content kind of, I don't know about exploded, but kind of went up a fair bit.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, being an American, seeing how Americans do it, like they're not afraid to post daily or have these big camera setups and say what they feel. But I think seeing that in person was really good to kind of motivate me and make me think like, hey, I want to kind of bring this back to Australia and not be afraid of what I post.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's I so the time that you went over there and those videos were uploaded was a similar time that we actually started out
Mm.
uploading on YouTube. And I remember we discussed it a few times of just firstly how awesome that opportunity would be
Mm.
and how I'd love to do it. But also just secondly to the fact that Australia needs more voice in the hobby for Australian buyers and collectors, but also I think internationally, why not? So like we've loved what you've done, and it's kind of helped us with a bit of confidence
Yep.
going, hey, like let's go for it. Like it's okay that we're learning. That's a great chance to kind of show that
Mm.
as it goes. So with that in mind, the one thing that you would give, and I think this is a everyone answers it slightly differently, but kind of the same. What's something you would tell someone who's just getting into the hobby, wants to be in it long term, like it's it's a memory thing as a kid, or they are a young fella or a young girl. What's something that you'd say, hey, don't forget this. This is important to remember.
Yeah, I definitely think, first off, it's got to really be a hobby. Like some people, they come across the videos and they think about the money making aspect straight away. But I think having a PC to kind of fall back on if anything goes wrong or badly, the market goes down, having a PC to kind of fall back on is really important because I think that's what happened during COVID. During
Mhm.
COVID, a lot of far out. There was so many people that were in it for the money, and like the market was going nuts at that time. But once normality kind of resumed, the market kind of went back down, not to where it was pre-COVID, but it was slowly coming down. A lot of people were losing money, and you had these people just selling off their collections. And I think those people that were just solely focused and solely in it for the money, they were the first ones to go because again, they didn't have anything to kind of fall back on. So I think having a PC and a reason to be in the hobby is important. The money kind of comes second. Like yes, if you're able to make some money off the hobby, that's incredible. But making sure you're really tied in and having your own personal collection, yeah, I think is really important.
Mm.
Excuse me.
My pride and joy is because I'm a massive Dame fan, and it's rookie stained glass purple variation. And it's in a Beckett 9.5, and like I look at that just because I want to look at it. It's
Yeah.
and like you said, it is important to have that for sure, for sure.
Yeah, that early stained glass, those years are like I reckon they're kind of undervalued in a way because
Mm.
like the stained glasses that they're really nice. Like they're
Yeah.
really nice cards and they're not the easiest to grade as well. So I do love those 2012, 2013 innovation stained glasses. And like, for players other than your bigger names like your Kobe LeBrons and all that sort of stuff, like I remember last year having like an Andre Kirilenko and I sold it for like $20. And like,
Which is crazy.
just I think it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what the print run of them are because I've heard some people say they're a case hit, but I actually did watch a case break of it last year when someone told me that, and I saw a guy pull three of them. So
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know what SP they are,
Mm,
but yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a very gorgeous card for sure.
yeah, yeah.
No, dude, that's sick. With starting in mind for yourself, what has been the biggest learning curve you've experienced?
Oh, I in terms of like the content stuff, it's everything. Like I'm not the greatest public speaker. Like I don't feel like I am, but it's definitely like talking to a lens. With you're not really talking to anyone. You're just looking at this lens and you're chatting. I think that's definitely been the biggest thing. But like YouTube's been massive for me, just stepping out of my comfort zone because again, just putting your face out there and being comfortable with negativity because people are going to say negative things. I think a great example, a great way to kind of show that I've still got a long way to go is that theft video that I posted last week. Like, I knew it was going to get some negative backlash because I ended up blurring these kids' faces, but like the comments on them were ridiculous.
It was.
People saying I was faking the footage. I had people saying that I was doing a disservice to the hobby. Mainly Americans, I'd say. I don't think I didn't really have too many Australians saying that because I think people know what our laws are like with privacy. But like eventually, I was I posted that last Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, it's probably. I try to reply to every comment. So this was a bad thing. So like when you're going through negative comments and
Yeah.
you're reading it and you're like, what do I reply to this? I thought I did have a thick skin, but eventually I had to turn off comments to non-followers. And after I did that, I realized that like it was just the public the people that didn't know me that were saying that sort of stuff. So I think building a thick skin was definitely one that was big, like people challenging you on whether you deserve having a place in terms of having a voice on YouTube. And I think anyone can really have that voice. It doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm saying I know everything because I still make mistakes. And then just other things like thumbnails, YouTube titles, little edits, and all that sort of stuff. I've had to learn all of that myself. I have no formal training. Like I keep it very simple. Like I don't do anything crazy, but yeah, all that stuff ties in together. I'd say just the art of making a YouTube video is one thing I would say.
We agree. We
Yeah.
agree. No, 100%. So this year, one thing that we've noted from your content side of things, you've been going to a lot more shows, or at least having episodes for it. Talk to us about the shows that you've been to this year, what excites you about going to shows and being a vendor, and maybe just one or two highlights from those moments.
Yeah, I definitely love. I've been trying to smash all the shows. Like I did actually do a bit of an update calendar, and I'm not saying I did say I would be saying yes to every show, but I haven't said yes to every show. And at the moment, my total count for 2026 is 18. I know Pokemon, TCG, like these guys probably have 30 to 40 shows this year. So I've said no to a few shows and, just trying to give myself a bit of a break. As much as I love the shows, I also need a break because I still work a day job or a full-time job outside. But I think with the shows, yeah, I think at the start when I definitely was going to shows, I never thought they were worth it. But I think with how much they've grown here in Australia and locally, especially in Melbourne, we're very fortunate that
Mm.
we're in Melbourne. Like, I think our show scene is incredible. Like, I think that yeah, they're just nuts at the moment. So we have some big shows coming up, and I think the beauty of being at shows is like everyone loves being online and making deals, that sort of stuff. But like actually creating a relationship in person, just like with Jonah coming up to the table and I was putting a face to an Instagram account, which I still struggle with. But again, with you guys, it's very easy because you actually have your face on your account. But people will be like, oh, we've been DMing for years, and then I'm like, oh, I need your Instagram, and then I'm like, I need your name, and then eventually I'm like, okay, I think I know
We
who
got
you are. And
there.
it's like the face-to-face interactions help heaps.
Mm.
And I even had one. I actually had a funny one at Collector's Pit. So in that theft video, there's a guy there who he was kind of standing at the front the entire time. I've actually been chatting to him for a couple of years, and he was there throughout that entire time. Met me for the first time whilst that theft happened, and we
Wow.
messaged each other afterwards. Like, geez, that was a pretty crazy first meeting for that to happen. So I think it's important to definitely be doing the shows if you're wanting to grow your business, grow your platform. The shows are crucial because yeah, again, you're meeting people that
Mm.
might not be in these Facebook groups. There's a million Facebook groups out there, but some people just aren't in it. So I think just getting your face out there, getting your marketing out there, I think has been kind of my best way of growing my own business. And yeah, as much effort as they are, I do think they are worth it. And the bigger we make these shows, I think, yeah, there's going to be more opportunities for all of us to come.
Yeah, for sure. With that, for the collector side of it, our show's worth it for people to come.
Oh, definitely. I definitely think so. Like that's a good thing if you're a collector as well, because if you go in with a plan, and I think this is what people struggle with their first time at a show, it's sometimes they're like, am I here at a show to buy? Am I here to a show to sell? Am I trying to flip cards? Am I trying to find a PC card? I think if you actually have that direct goal of like, I'm going in for my own collection, I do think shows are worth it, especially if you've never been to any of these shows before. Like, I'm not saying you've got to go to every single show like I do. You can be selective about it and, pick the major shows like Hobby Hangout, Oz National, all those sorts of shows. But I think for collectors, definitely it is worth it because you have a more direct path of knowing what you want versus some other people that are there and they kind of get to the end of the show and they're like, what do I do now? So I think collectors for sure it is worth it.
For I guess here in Australia specifically English, what is something that like you've seen like trend towards here in Australia, and what excites you about like these shows? You're saying like they're getting busier, there's more of them. Looking forward over the next 6 months, 12 months here in Australia.
Yeah, I think that's just a frequency of the shows. So like some of these smaller states like Adelaide and and Perth as well. Like the Adelaide one was a really good one for me to go. Like I think if you're wanting to go to one in a state, relatively cheap table setup, and just a nice place to visit. I think the SA Card Show is a really nice one to go to. But the SA Card Show is one that only really gets those two shows per year. So it's the same guy that runs it, but with that, because they're getting more and more popular, you're starting to see more shows sprout up in those smaller states. So I know Collect Fest is going to Adelaide. I know the guys who run the summit, they're doing their own Adelaide card show in Adelaide. So I think you're starting to see these smaller cities and smaller states start to get a bit more attention. I get a lot of messages from people in WA who are like we just have nothing going on here, and they're like you should come out here, and I'm probably part of the problem as well. I can't, it hasn't been anything for me worthwhile that I've thought I can make the whole journey out there for. But I heard from Perth Card Fest a week and a half ago that it went really well, so that's another one that I really want to line up for next year. So I think definitely, and that ties into your last question before, definitely going to all these other shows in the state are worth it, like especially as a business, because you definitely see some different collectors and some states, especially with AFL. Adelaide will have a bit more AFL compared to New South Wales, and WA might have some AFL as well. Like you'll see some states favour things over others, but meeting different people, I think, is an exciting part of what's at shows as well.
Yeah, very much so. Now this one might be a little bit of a plug for you and the show. Do you have a favorite show or a show you're most keen for coming up that you're doing?
Oh, definitely this year would be Oz National. Yeah, so it's their third edition of it this year, and each time it's gotten bigger and bigger. I just love the timing for it as well. It's just before the grand final, so um, I do like what they're doing, and yeah, the popularity for it has grown so much over the last couple of years. Like this year, they're doing a split floor, so they're doing one floor of sports, one floor of TCG. I think I saw you guys get released for the vendor announcements. And look, I think people will be excited for that split TCG and sports. I've had so many people that are like, why don't people like group up all these sports deals together? Why don't they group up these TCG guys together? I'm actually someone who's not a fan of that, but I it's fine. It's fine for them to be doing that because I understand. But I yeah, I think it will be definitely for people who are more sports card collectors that are wanting to have a dedicated floor. I think you're going to see some new dealers. And also, I think what they've got planned is a 2 day show as well. I think we're very fortunate being here in
Yeah.
Melbourne. It's a 20 to 25 minute drive for me to Marvel Stadium. So it's quite easy to get to, but I'm very excited for the show as well. But yeah, look, if there's so many shows at the moment. You've got CardCon as well, which is was meant to be a 1 day show next month, and because of the popularity for it, they ended up making it 2 days. And I think that will be primarily TCG, but Jose and I have been chatting for a while, and his marketing's incredible.
Mm.
You've also got the Summit, which was in Sydney, and they're bringing down to Melbourne in late November. So that will be 2 days as well. And then you've got that sports only show in mid-December or early December as well. So, like, there's some really big shows
Mm.
down here in Melbourne. Like, it's probably be unfair to just speak about Oz National, but I think there are some major shows coming down here, and you've still got your usual Melbourne card fairs that kind of slot in between, and smaller shows as well.
Yeah, no, we're excited.
Yeah.
Oz National was the first show we ever went to last
Mm.
year. And the atmosphere there, being at Marvel Stadium, is also pretty special, pretty cool. So shout out if you're in Melbourne or in Australia and want to come to a show. That, I mean, there is a lot, but it's a 2 dayer and it's pretty awesome. So definitely agree with that. Now, kind of looking ahead, because the last 18 months, probably 24 months, has been pretty hot for sports cards, and cards in general. TCG actually probably more so. What's something that you kind of see continuing to trend, or something you think might pop up? Some, I guess, predictions over the next little bit.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest predictor, because I didn't really think like all these GOAT cards like Curry, Kobe, LeBron will just pop off as much as they have. Like, I remember selling a Kobe auto mid last year for 2,500, like an on card auto, and I was like, I can't. It's such a low end set. It's on card. Like, I understand it's Kobe, but how are they going to go up even more? And I look at that same card now, and you're looking at it being like a 4 to 5 grand card. So I don't know if I'm the best in terms of projecting where things will go. Like, I don't. I'm typically a glass half full person, but there's a couple of things I think will happen, and it's probably going the opposite way of what I think. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some sort of market correction, because I feel like we're just seeing record-breaking sales on certain cards constantly,
Mm.
and I don't know. I just don't feel like that's sustainable. I don't delve in the high-end market. I'm pretty much more a low to mid-end sort of person. So, but like you're just seeing these record breaking sales constantly. So I'm wondering if like there's going to be a correction coming up soon. I'm not too sure when, what causes that, whether it's something outside that we can't control in the financial market. I'm not too sure. And then the other thing I'd probably say is I actually kind of mentioned this in a TikTok the other week, but this happened during COVID when PSA halted their grading. So PSA right now have stopped their value grading. So anything you want to submit, like a silver prism, that's worth $20, you can't submit it for the $50 grading because they've closed it. And that's going to be closed for about, from what I know, up until early next year. And so I think the cheapest that we can kind of submit through is like the 150 to $200. I don't know what the actual amount is, but it's like the next tier up.
Mm.
But my prediction is that these players that have just been drafted, like AJ DeBanza, Darren Peterson, I think a lot of people will be hot on them, and then someone out there will get their first Topps Chrome base card, which I think Cooper's flags at the moment. It's not even. I think it's $10 to $20. I don't know what it is at the moment, but it's somewhere around that range. But I think AJ, someone send in like an AJ DeBanza one into the $150 grading, and you're going to see this ridiculous $1,000 or $2,000 sale because this happened with Mac Jones. When Mac Jones was popping off, it was like that perfect sort of
It's a good call.
storm of Mac Jones popping off. PSA grading, value grading wasn't there, and then also Don Russ was the only thing that was kind of released at the time. So people just sent in Mac Jones cards for $100, $150 grading, and then we had a $3,000 sale for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone does that for like this NBA draft class. Apparently, they say every class is generational, but they say it's on par. And like if Cooper Flag was in this draft class, he wouldn't be a clear-cut number one. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I think there will be some sort of situation where that happens, where someone just sends in a really meh card and then it will just resell for $1,000 to $2,000, and we all just look at it and laugh.
Yeah.
I think
That's a good prediction.
I
Yeah.
think that's very fair, especially with it being halted and probably halted for a little while at least longer. No,
Backlog, crazy.
it is, and with like talking like the high end stuff, like we got Chrome update for basketball about to release. Like those cards are gonna
Yeah.
go ballistic, you know. Like I don't see it stopping there, but it has to at some point, surely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the typical thing every year is like during the off season, the market does cool, but it hasn't really cooled in this whole period. Like we've had probably the one of the greatest off seasons in terms of player movement. You've had this draft classes, which is really exciting. You've got Topps releasing these exciting products, but even like Topps Chrome Update, like I don't know it too well, but I know when it comes to like baseball, I've seen a few Topps Chrome Update cards. Like the market isn't as comparable to true Topps Chrome, but I know with the exciting cards that they'll come out with, people will be hot on them, and then eventually I think it will correct. And yeah, we'll see where that ends up.
I like it.
100%.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So for everyone that's tuned in for the episode, Matt, give us a little blurb of what you've got coming up, your socials, and where people can find you and check out everything you do. I'm sure they already know, but let them know.
Yeah, at the moment, well, we've got a bit of a lull in shows. So next card show I'll be at will be Melbourne Card Fair, August 2nd. I've got a calendar on my Instagram at Matt's Card Shop. It's pinned. I know a lot of people ask when these shows are in Melbourne. Selfishly, it's only the shows that I'm doing. I'm not putting out all the shows that because there's a million shows every week, and I couldn't do that on my socials. But yeah, at Matt's Card Shop, if you want a case for yourself, at Matt's Card Case. It's overload of Matt's, but yeah, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
And the cases are awesome.
Fantastic.
All right, guys. Thank you. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you again soon. See ya.
Peace.